my personal space. Boundaries, I say. What? He asks, a smirk playing on his perfect mouth. I take a step back. Nothing. I don't have time for this. I need to get my ass to class. I mumble something about needing to go, and then head in the direction I think my class is in. Where are you off to? He asks, gently catching my elbow. Ancient history, I say, turning my body halfway around to face him. Ancient history is that way, Paris, he says with a chuckle. I turn around to see him pointing in the opposite direction. Red-faced, I head toward where he's pointing. See you around, he calls out, then turns around and begins walking off. I ignore him, inhale deeply, square my shoulders, and walk to my class. I take the first vacant seat I can find toward the back of the room, keeping my eyes down and not looking at anyone. I don't need any attention. I get more than enough of that after school hours. Someone sits at the desk next to me, but I don't look up or even risk glancing at them. Nice of you to save me a seat, comes a deep, familiar voice. His scent once again invades my senses. Grayson. You're in this class? I ask, leaning back in my seat. I am. I would have walked you here, but I had to drop something off to my friend, Bryce. I cut him off. Okay. I don't know why he's explaining himself to me. I just didn't want you to think I was an asshole for not walking you to a class you obviously didn't know how to get to, he says. I got here just fine, I point out. That you did, he says. He turns his body toward me. What class do you have after this? Why? I ask, suspicion lacing my tone. Just curious, he says, grinning playfully. Were you conceived in Paris? I almost fall out of my chair. What kind of a question is that? I ask, gaping. Your parents named you it for a reason, he says, shrugging. No, my mum just liked the name, I say, narrowing my eyes at him. Is he going to ask me questions throughout this whole class? I glance around. Maybe I can switch chairs with someone. When I look back at him, his eyes are still on me. I haven't seen you around here. Is that your version of a pickup line? I ask, pulling out my file and opening it. Everything is organized into categories and color-coded, just the way I like it. Silence. Just being friendly, Paris. Great. Now I feel like shit. Want some gum? I ask him, pulling some out of my pocket and offering him a piece to break the ice. Sure, he says, showing off those dimples. He takes the piece from my hand, and my palm tingles from the contact of his fingers. This one is dangerous. The attraction is there. I can feel it, and I think he can feel it too. I offer him a slight smile and then turn to face the front of the class. The lecturer speaks, saving me from having to socialize. I keep my head face to the front, my eyes locked on the man speaking. I pull out my purple pen and start jotting down notes, wanting to be on top of things from the get-go. He clears his throat. Can I borrow a pen? I put my pen down and turn my head to look at him. His warm brown eyes look at me expectantly, his dark hair curling behind his ears. I force myself to move my gaze away from his face, to stop taking in every inch of him. You came to your first day with no pen? I ask, blinking slowly. He shrugs and flashes me a boyish smile. I wonder if he knows that he could use that smile as a weapon, or if he's somehow unaware of his charm. I hope it's the latter, but most likely it's the former. I open my pencil case, trying to find an appropriate-looking pen. Baby blue with sparkles. That's going to have to do. I hand it over to him, making sure our hands don't touch, and wait for him to complain about the girly pen. Instead, he surprises me by smiling and thanking me. I scrunch my eyebrows, turning back to face the front of the room. When I feel his gaze on me, I ignore it. When he keeps staring, I decide to say something. I turn to him and tilt my head. Okay, what? I ask. What? He asks, his brows furrowing in confusion. Why are you staring at me? Do I have something on my face? I ask him, trying to keep my tone casual.